Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Deva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vedyadravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Yata sarvani bhutani pratibhanti stithani cha yatraivo pashamam yanti tasmai satyatmane namaha. So where are we in our text?
We're in chapter 27, verse 48.
So we're wrapping up the story of Chudala and Ishikadvaja. And where we ended up, she's talking about the only thing that needs to be renounced is the mind, which basically means two things. The mind itself quits believing itself. I cannot think a real thought, including the one I just thought, and giving up any sense of self. No personal sense of self is real. All right. Where are we? Which verse?
48.
Go for it.
Yadi dehe na sattvam syat tada panchattvapnunat. If there is no sense consciousness in the body, then it will undergo resolution into the 5 primary elements, that is, it will perish.
Yes. So when there is not what some psychics call the silver thread that connects the subtle body to the physical body, then it immediately begins to resolve itself back into the gross elements. And if you've ever been at a deathbed, even if someone is deep in coma, there's something there. And then when they pass, something is gone. And that's just a lump of clay. Going on.
Swadeham sa parityajya chittatve sansthita sato tacchitaspandanam kritva swadeham punarayayau kumbhakritiratha sthitva samaganam chakarasa. That virtuous lady Chudala, quitting her body and established in the primary principle of consciousness, came back to her body after having caused the movement of his Shikidwaja's mind. Then, standing before him in the form of Kumbha, she chanted the Samaveda.
So he's lost in samadhi. So she's in front of him. So she goes into his mind with her subtle body. Come on back, dear. Come on back. And so he retains external awareness, and she's there too now. And then chanting the Samaveda because it's party going on.
Samagana Swanam Shrutva Prabudhya Bhupati Tada Dada Shakre Sthitam Kumbham Samavedam Ivaparam. Then, having heard the sound of the Saman chant and having woken up, the king saw Kumbha standing in front as if he were another Samaveda.
Yes. So this shining, beautiful boy is standing in front, who's really his wife, who's, transmogrified. And he comes back into objective awareness. Now, some people have a deep samadhi and they realize the self and they don't come back, they die. There are stories of some saints, they realize the self and they don't live much longer after that. One of the things that can happen, Osho, Rajneesh talked about this after his realization. He was deathly ill for months as the knowledge trickled down into the subtle and physical body. And it was all that kashaya, that unloading. No set formula for it. Other people realize the self at a very young age and then live a very full life of service to others or being incognito. No one knows. They just seem like an ordinary person who doesn't have problems. Very weird. There's no set formula. Any thoughts on this? What happens to the equipment after realization is prarabdha. It's just the force of the past maturing. And the jnani doesn't care. Going on.
Aho Bata Payam Dhanya Puna Prapto Muni Swataha Itye Vodaharantam Tam Kumbho Rajana Kumbho Rajanam Abravit. Ah, we are fortunate or blessed that the sage has arrived again by himself. To the king who was saying thus, Kumbha spoke as follows.
So he still doesn't know that it's Chudala incognito. Going on.
Yata prabriti yatosmin tvat sakashat aham tada tata prabriti me cheta tvayaiveha samam sthitam. From which time onward I have departed from your presence. Henceforward, my mind was resting entirely here itself because of you.
So by your grace, Guruji, my mind is gone and I was deep in samadhi. Thank you. Let's see what happens.
Rajavacha Ahoham sukriti yasmad ichhate mama sangame. The king said, "Ah, I am fortunate that you have the desire for my company."
Going on.
Kumbha uvacha pare pade mahanande kachit vishrantavan asi idam bhedam ayam dukha kachit satyaktavan asi. Kumbha said, I hope you have reposed in the highest abode of supreme happiness. I hope you have abandoned this distress consisting of division or difference.
Yes, I hope your knowledge is rooted and your doubts are cut asunder. That you can own the bliss of yourself. It's not dependent on being with the Guru. Anytime you wish, you can just drop everything. Going on.
Rajavacha Bhagavan Tvatprasadena Lambho Lambha Vyanishchayah Sarvatraivati Triptosmin Samstitosmin Gatajvaraha. The king said, Revered sage, by your favor, the certainty or purpose that must be gained has been obtained. I am extremely satisfied at all times. I remain free from fever or anxiety.
Yes. So the journey's over. He's at rest. He's at peace. Going on.
Evametau samotsahau samasatvau babhuvatuhu. Thus, these two remain equally happy and of the same mind.
So both Kumbha and the king are equal now, hanging out. Atmaramana, reveling in the self. Going on.
Iti Shri Vasishtha Sangrahe Chudalopadesho Nama Saptavinsha Sargaha. Thus ends the 27th chapter titled The Teaching of Chudala in the Abridgment of Yoga Vasishtha.
Now, what's going to happen? Does she go back to being Chudala? Does she say is Kumbha? Let's go on.
Ashta Vinsha Sargaha. Chapter 28 Shikidvaja Pariksha. The Test of Shikidvaja. Section 1 Kumbhasya Ratrau Stritvam. The womanhood of Kumbha during the night. Vasishtha Uvacha Dinai Katipayai Evam Samachitta Tayacharan Kumbha Tulyo Babhav Raja Drishtva Cha Yathasthitam.
This is so funny, this part. Go ahead.
Chudalasa Tamamantriya Tyaktva Kumbha Vapugata Rajakaryanya Sheshani Pure Sampadhya Satvaram Shikhit Vajasya Purata Kumbharupa Taragata. Vasishtha said, living thus for a number of days with an equable mind, the king shone equal to Kumbha. Having seen him in such a state, Chudala, bidding farewell to him and giving up the body of Kumbha, departed. Having fulfilled speedily all the duties of the king in the city, she arrived in front of Shikhidvaja, wearing the form of Kumbha.
Okay, so again, while all this is going on, she keeps having to go back to the capital doing his job. So then she teleports back to the forest and takes up the form of Kumbha again. Going on.
Kumbham Khinnam Mukham Drishtva Rajuvachedamadaram Devaputro Namastestu Vimana Iva Lakshase Satam Vidita Vedhyanam Shamo Nasti Vishadajah. Seeing Kumbha with a dejected face, the king said this with reverence. Divine son, salutations to you. You are seen as if depressed in mind. To sages who have known what ought to be known, there is no weariness produced by grief.
So what are you grieving for? You're a person of steady wisdom. But you look sad. Now, she is testing. Just understand that. Going on.
So Chudala's back with
She's back looking as Kumbha.
with her husband.
Yeah, but no, she's not yet as Chudala. She's still as Kumbha.
But
She's still
there
Kumbha.
with husband.
And she's apparently dejected. So Shikadvaja says, "Yes, man, you're supposed to be realized. Why are you sad?" Going on.
Okay.
Kumbhavacha Yavadeham avasthasu Samachitta tayeva ye Karmendriyai na tishtanti na te tatvadita shathaha. Kumbha said, as long as the body exists in its various states of pleasure or pain, those who do not, with equal mindedness, perform or engage themselves with their organs of action, they are not knowers of truth or reality. They are only deceitful persons.
So it is not about the cessation of activity. And some people still are afraid of the world. Or they think in order to maintain their steady wisdom, they can't be active in the world. And what I like to say, the person of steady wisdom is out of control. Whether they're sitting still or engaged in activity makes no difference anymore. But it isn't holier to not be engaged in the world. Now, again, this is liberty, not license. If, in fact, the equipment is engaged in tamasic and rajasic activity, don't complain about a funky mind. Nobody else but you did it. Is that making sense? You may know it's unreal, but that doesn't make it go away. You know, karma is karma, and the dharma of the body is karma. Yes, it's dreamlike.
And that's the property of the mind and the body to respond in that way.
Yeah. So this is why you get this verse in the second chapter of Gita where Krishna says, "Be you ever beyond the gunas and ever remain in the sattvic state." Well, that sounds contradictory. So the first thing, you ever be the space of pure awareness, identify as that, ever the knower of the play of the gunas, understanding all mind states are temporary. In the book I Am That, one of the questioners says to Nisargadatta Maharaj, "Are you in samadhi all the time?" And Maharaj says, "Of course not. Samadhi's a mind state." Now, if you want to maximize the quality of life here on the relative plane, be sattvic. It's happier that way. And know that you can't get stuck there. Your mind's going to do what it's going to do. Prarabdha. Any thoughts on this?
Jim, I had a question. This is Atik.
Hi, Atik.
Hi, Jim. So, what you're saying makes sense. I think we've talked in the past about there does come a point where all the vasanas get exhausted. Is that point also the end of being the physical form in this body, or not necessarily?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So a vasana has two powers, veiling power and then projecting power. So when the vasanas get exhausted, the veiling power is gone and the jonesing is gone. But there remains a roasted seed. And this is how the scriptures explain the fact that person can be a knower of Brahman, and yet their equipment still acts in the world.
Okay.
But they never lose their knowledge, and even though they act in the world, there's no insistence about things anymore. Now, what I would do would be to direct you to a section in Viveka Chudamani where he discusses, is there prarabdha for the saint? And it's just beautifully articulated, that whole thing.
Which section is that, Jim?
It's called, is there prarabdha for the saint? And it's
Okay.
towards the end of Viveka Chudamani.
Okay, thank you.
Going on.
Parameshti prabhrittaya sarva evoditaashayaha dehavasthasu tishtanti niyate esha nishchayaha. All those beginning with Brahma, the creator God, with lofty minds or awakened hearts, conform to the various states of the body. This is the certainty of destiny.
Yes. So you come out of samadhi, your knowledge is clear. There's nothing you must do, but you will act impelled by the force of the past and the desires of other people. I jokingly tell people, in the end, God has led me through life through my wallet. I was not born a trust fund kid. I have to pay the rent. I went off to India, but I'm an American with a tourist visa. What's that mean? I have to come back. So what should I do with my life and my time? Back to the old karma yoga, act in the world. How? According to your inherent latent proclivities, but do it in a spirit of service. So, for example, many people said about Swamiji, if he hadn't gone into the spiritual life, he probably would have been Prime Minister of India. He had real political prarabdha karma. He was a master of being able to communicate to huge masses of people. When he would come here, we would be at a camp and there would be 200 or 300 people max at the height of it. In India, there would be 60,000 people at his camps, at his talks.
My God,
Yes,
Jesus.
yes. He was a big shot. He was kind of like a Billy Graham.
Mhm.
You probably don't know about Billy Graham. He was a
It's an American.
televangelist guy. Yeah.
And he was on TV.
And he was pastor to presidents.
Mhm.
But everybody has the prarabdha. His guru never came down onto the Gangetic plain. He would go back and forth between Gangotri and Rishikesh, wander in the Himalayas, never had more than 3 students at a time, lived in a tiny little hut, mud brick, yet both men of wisdom with very different prarabdha. So you will know 5 elements of karma yoga. We come back to it. Act how, according to your swadharma, your inherent latent proclivities, in the yajna spirit, selfless service, serve the society, renouncing your attachment to the fruits of action. All we get is work, never to its fruits. And our renunciation of the sense of agency. There's no person there doing the doing. It is guna and karma, the qualities of mind and the force of the past as it interacts with the society. You go to work in IT for a particular company, a startup, and they go broke. You didn't do it, but you're in that karmic environment. Or you go to work for a startup, and then while you're there, they go public and you make $1 million. Prarabdha. You with restaurants during COVID, many restaurants survived
Mhm.
and many did not. Prarabdha. Any thoughts on this? But the person of steady wisdom has given up the idea. It's going to be better with a different job. It's going to be better with a different house. It's going to be better with a different relationship. It's going to be better with a different this or that. No, you just do what you do. And the desire arises and you act, and it either works or it doesn't. And when all that prarabdha is done, you got dead. And for example, Ram Dass, fine teacher, very famous, books, stuff like that. But his prarabdha was to have a stroke. And after that, he talked about going to a very deeper place where he was surfing the silence. Not a great term. Why? He was aphagic. He couldn't speak. Going on.
Aham tavat katham yami tavashesham swarge vrittam yat adhyame suhritya veditam dukkham param ayati tanavam. I shall tell you entirely that which happened to me in heaven today. The sorrow that is communicated to a friend attains to the greatest thinness or is reduced very much.
Yeah, so it can always help to share with one another. Now, Kumba's doing a setup here. So he's saying, I'm going to tell you what happened when I was up in heaven. I was rolling around in heaven. So let's see what happened. So this is a literary device and it's also a setup for Shikanvacha. So let's see what happens.
Aham tavat ito yata chiram stitva trivishtape iha gantu tadakasham samutpatitavan aham. Departed from here, having first stayed for a long time in heaven, I then jumped into the sky for coming here.
Going on.
Athagre varipurnanam meghanam madhyavartmana apashyam munim apashyam munim aya antam aham durvasam javat. Then I saw the sage Durvasas, who was coming rapidly in front through the intervening path of the clouds filled with water.
So while she's up in the sky or Kumba's up in the sky, again, this is a story. There's this sage coming through the clouds, which happen to be filled with water. Going on.
Kritva tasya namaskaram leelayoktam maya nripa mune neela pravastradvam abhisarigaya samaha. King, having paid respectful obeisance to him, these words were uttered by me playfully. Sage, you are clothed by dark blue clouds, resembling a woman going to meet her lover.
So she's, again, this is a story. So Kumba insults the sage. Let's see what happens. He's going to give a funny curse. Going on.
Ityakarna mamocha sao kopat shapam imam munihi stana keshavati kanta ratrau yosha bhavishyasi. Having heard thus, the sage cast this curse out of anger. You will become a woman during night with the bosom and tresses of a lovely woman.
So, bosom interesting. So she gets to be trans. So what's going to happen when Kumba becomes a woman at night? Going on.
Evam advigna chittodhya praptoham nabhasa talat ati vahyam dinanteshu stritvam ekam maya katham. Thus, with a sorrowful mind, I have arrived now from the surface of the sky. How is the singular state of a woman at the end of the days to be passed or borne by me?
Oh, is it so terrible? I have to be a bosomy woman with long hair. And let's see what Shikadvacha does about the whole thing.
Rajavacha pari devanaya karyam kinchit naiva hi vidyate yat ayati tat ayatu dehasyatmana lipyate. The king said, there is nothing whatsoever to be accomplished by lamentation. Whatever comes to the body, let it come. The self is not defiled.
Yeah, there it is. Now, the king has sthita prajna, steady wisdom. And he says to Kumbha the truth that all of us must internalize. Would you please read the English of that verse again?
There is nothing whatever to be accomplished by lamentation. Whatever comes to the body, let it come. The self is not defiled.
Yes. I am ever the untouched witness of it all. Now, this does not mean not to go to the doctor if you're sick. Again, I like to use the image, you want to think of your body like a car. You're not your car, but that doesn't mean you don't rotate the tires and change the oil and go to the car wash. But you're not your car. And at some point, car breaks down, you get a new car. How many cars have you owned in your life?
Not a lot, because I keep them a long time, probably 5, but still 5.
What happened to the first car?
I don't even remember. It was so long ago.
You're still pretty young. How many cars have you owned?
This is the third car.
Yeah, what happened to the first one?
My God.
You sell it? Did
I
it
told them,
junk
yeah,
it?
I have no idea what.
Yeah.
But,
Such as reincarnation. But they all break down. And they all get old. It doesn't mean we don't take care of the body. So we gotta not take this literalistically. But there's no fighting destiny. The dharma of the body is it's born, it grows up, it gets sick, and it dies. That's,
Very apropos.
but it's not you. And it's the truth about the bodies of all the people we love, too. Going on.
Sayam sandhyam upasthaya. Sayam sandhyan upasyatha. Sthitayo annayo shanaihi. Kumbho dhritva vapusprenam. Idamaha shikhidvajam. When these two were standing, after having worshipped the deity at the evening twilight, Kumbha, assuming the form of a woman, told this to Shikhidvaja.
So she's a woman who assumed the form of a young Brahmin boy who now transmogrifies into a bosomy woman. And guess what bosomy women like to do? It's very interesting. In this culture, the stereotype is the men are all lusty and the women are all virginal.
Mhm.
But in India, it's those women.
Mm.
They're always seducing righteous, pure boys. Going on.
Patamiva spuramiva dramamivanga yashtibihi pashye me parivardhante rajan mama shiro ruha pashye mau mama jayete pronmukhau urasi sthanau agulfam agulfam avalambhini sampandhye barani me. King, I fall as it were, I tremble and I melt as it were with my bodily frame. See, these my tresses grow in length, these breasts on my bosom are rising up. My garments, which are hanging down, reach up to the ankle.
Yes, so she's going through metamorphosis. Let's see what happens next. Going on.
Rajavacha avashyam bhavikaryesmin ma khinna hridayo bhava evam ashvasita tena ratrau stritvam upagata kumbharupadhara chahni vijahara dine dine. Don't become dejected and hard in this matter that will take place inevitably. Thus comforted by the king, she Chudala in the form of Kumbha attained to womanhood at night and went about wearing the form of Kumbha in the daytime every day.
Yes, so she's a boy during the day, she's a woman at night, but she's really Chudala the queen.
What does one call that?
But this is a test. You'll see.
Mm.
You'll see, because you know what women like to do at night.
Mhm.
Going on.
Section 2. Pralobhanam, allurement.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Tata katipayesh vesham kateshu divaseshu sa idam provacha bhartaram kumbharupa dharasati. Then, when several days had thus passed, that virtuous woman, wearing the form of Kumbha, told this to her husband.
Going on.
Wait, who's the husband here?
Shikadvaja.
Oh, okay. So
See,
she's
Chudala's married to Shikadvaja, but she knew he couldn't receive the knowledge from his wife, and certainly not a woman. So she had the siddhis arise in her, and so she's now a tantric yogi. So she changes herself into Kumbha because he'll listen to a young Brahmin boy. But now all this is just a device to test him. So now she's a woman who transfigured into a man, a boy, who is now transfigured into an alluring woman.
right. So I guess she's the woman, but she's
He does not know that she's Chudala.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nishayam pratyaham tavat bhavamyevaha mangana tachidamyam anadharmam nipuni kartumidrisham grihana mam vivahena bhavaneva pati bhava. Every day at night I indeed become a beautiful woman. Therefore, I wish to make the natural disposition of a lovely woman of this kind fulfilled. Accept me by marriage. Let your honor become my husband.
Yes, at least she doesn't want to be a slut. Marry me. Now, he's already got one wife back in the city. So is he going to marry the second one? She's horny. She wants to do what women do at night, fulfilling what happens there. Going on.
Rajavacha krite nanena karyena na shubham sakhe pashyami tat mahabuddhe yathe chassi tat akuru. The king said, Friend, I see neither good nor bad in accomplishing this matter. Therefore, noble-minded one, do as you please.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
That's what he says.
Let's see what happens.
Evam.
But I would say the deeper point, as I had mentioned much earlier, for the woman or the man of knowledge. Our prarabdha, certainly there's the proclivities that come from the force of our own past. But much of what happens for us and to us is the desires of other people.
Hmm.
And what's the response of the person of steady wisdom? Do as you please. Would you do yada, yada, yada? Okay. We say yes to life until we say no. Does that make sense? Going on.
So I guess in this case, getting married was considered okay because I guess at the time kings were allowed to have multiple.
Well, you know how men are.
Yeah.
But he's saying to her, if you want to get married, fine,
Yeah,
because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
One way or another. It's
Yeah.
like it
doesn't matter to
it
you.
doesn't matter to him one way or another.
Mind you, he hasn't gotten laid for 12 years. And he was no kid when he went out there in the forest. So 12 years of celibacy, and there's a foxy lady. It's not his middle-aged wife. Going on.
Yeah, that's good
That's a good
context.
story. I like that.
It's what?
That's a good context there.
Yeah.
12 years celebrate. Evam yadi mahipala lagnam adhyaiva shobhanam ityuktva kumbha utthaya sahatena mahibrita Shrigandha pushparatnadi sanchayam kritavan asau sandhye karmani nirvritte vadhutvam kumbha ayayau kramenagni च संवालम ममम पाणिं गृहाण भोः एवं उक्त तया भूप तत्सर्वं समवर्तयत. King, if it is so, there is an auspicious period today itself. Thus, having said and getting up, that Kumbha gathered auspicious materials like fragrant substances, flowers, and gems along with the king. When the rituals pertaining to the evening were performed, Kumbha attained to womanhood. Sir, lighting the sacred fire in the proper manner, please accept my hand in marriage. Thus, having been addressed by the lady, the king did all that.
So many marriages in Hindu culture are done according to what's auspicious astrologically. So it happened to be tonight's a good night. So Kumbadu during the day, Kumbi at night. And now he marries her. Going on.
Evam vivahitau ishtau sampannau snigna dampati dinai tribhi gatva nidram yate shikhidvaje chudala rajakaryani kritva sa punarayayau. Thus married, they were an agreeable, happy, and loving couple. When Shikhidvaja went to sleep, Chudala, going to the city every 3 days and attending to state affairs, returned again.
Yeah. So she's still doing his job. I just think that's the funniest thing in the world. So she's got cities. She does Chudala, she runs the kingdom, and through the sky comes back, Kumbha in the daytime, and Kumbi at night, this lady pot. Honey pot. Going on.
Tato yateshu maseshu shanai katipayeshu sa Chudala chintayamasa pariksheham Shikhidvajam sapratam bhogabharene tidram pradarshayattada. Thereafter, when several months slowly elapsed, she, Chudala, thought thus: I shall test Shikhidvaja now with a load of excess of objects of enjoyment. She then showed or manifested Indra, the lord of the demigods, to the king.
So she's gonna see if he becomes attached to worldly things. Now, it's a paradox. So for the person of steady wisdom, they of course can move through the objects of the world, but only you can be honest with yourself inside. Are you attached or not? How can I tell if I'm fooling myself and I have an attachment when I pretending that I don't? What's the way to tell?
You suffer.
You got it. If I'm disturbed, no matter the cause, I have a klesha.
And it's always attached.
Attachment or identification, expectation. And that doesn't mean there's not, a little surface annoyance. That's going to happen. But you know when you're seriously upset about stuff. All right, any thoughts on this? Going on.
Indra uvacha uttishta swargamagaccha tatra sarve tvadunmukha akalpam vivida bhoga bhokvya santi te prabho. Indra said, "Get up, come to heaven. There all are waiting for you. Lord, there are various objects of enjoyment fit to be enjoyed by you up to the end of the world in heaven."
So Swarga, heaven, is a realm of super sensuous pleasures, according to Hindu mythology. But unlike the Christian heaven, it's temporary. There's a very interesting story in Christian scripture. So a man marries a woman. I can't remember which way it happens. Yes, she dies. So he marries again, and she dies. Or is it a woman who has 7 husbands? It's either a man who has 7 wives or a woman who has 7 husbands. You can't remember the story. Anyway, the whole point that in the end he dies and goes to heaven. Which one's his wife? In heaven, does he have 7 wives? Jesus says there will be no marrying in heaven. Does that mean we have free love? Is heaven some realm of super sensuality? According to Hindu mythology, yes. Streets paved with gold. 72 virgins. All right, going on.
Rajavacha sarvatraiva mama swargo gamyo na kutrachit maya tadastam shamamaniyam mayam sa samachintayat. To me, heaven is indeed everywhere. For that purpose, there is no need for me to go anywhere. Then, having brought that illusion of Indra to an end, she thought as follows.
So he is free from yearning for what he doesn't yet have. He has santosha, contentment. Because he has the swad, the taste. Going on.
नेमं हरति भोगेच्छा केनचित् बुद्धिहारिणा रागद्वेषप्रधानेन पुनः संक्षोभयान्मयहम्. The desire for enjoyments does not carry him away or captivate him. I shall agitate him again by some device predominantly producing passion and hate and taking away his discrimination.
Let's see if she can. There's a whole process within the tradition that the guru or life kicks the post. So stita, uh, the root is statishtati, and a stanam is a post. And if you've ever built a fence, when you dig a post hole, you put the rocks in, then you put the post in it, and then you put in cement. And after it's all set, you kick it to make sure it isn't wobbly. So what she's doing is seeing if he has sthita prajna, steady wisdom. So she's kicking the post. Now, life will do that. Just when you think you're so pure and your mind's so purified and nothing bothers you, life tends to throw us a curveball. Oh, let's see how steady your wisdom is. Anybody gone through a period like that?
Oh, yeah.
And then you get to see how steady is my wisdom. So she is doing that now. Let's see what happens.
एकदा कल्पितं कान्तं सुमनशयने स्थितम् आलिङ्ग्य मोदात् तिष्ठन्ति आलक्ष्यापि ततोषसः. Once, though having beheld Chudala remaining joyously embracing a lover fashioned by her yogic powers and resting on a flower bed, he was still pleased or contented.
So now she creates a scenario. He's walking along the jungle path, and there he sees his wife doing the mufti pufti with some other dude. What would be your response if you saw your wife with another man? A green-eyed monster of jealousy. Pretty powerful. Let's see if he's Astita Prajna Purusha, a person of steady wisdom. Let's see what his response is.
Vignam ma kurutam bhitau ityuktva nirjamam saha tato muhurtamatrena lajjajavana mattanam rajanam samupagamya tishtanti abravit nripaha. Frightened of me, let you not interrupt your association. Thus having said, he went out. Then, in just a muhurta or a period of 48 minutes, the king told her, who was standing with her face bent down with shame, having come near the king.
So he comes upon them doing the mufti pufti. He says, "Don't let me interrupt you." And he
So
leaves.
this is still the new wife, not, I mean,
Oh, she was as Chudala.
oh, so he's seeing Chudala.
He's seeing his wife
Got it. Okay.
with some strange
And
guy.
doesn't care.
No, I think she still is.
No, because he called her Chudala. The scripture called her Chudala, not Kumbha or anything like that.
But okay.
But I don't think it matters. We'll see. The whole point is now Chudala shows up with a downcast face, with apparent shame. Going on.
भूयतोष yitum gaccha kantam pranaya vrittabihi paraspare satasneho durlabho hi agatraye. Go again to please your lover with your loving conduct or attitude. Affection mutually wished for is indeed difficult to be attained in the three worlds.
Yes. So remember, for hundreds and hundreds of years, maybe thousands, even today, the vast majority of marriages in India are arranged. And that doesn't mean you're particularly attracted to your spouse. So if you find someone that really turns you on, it's a delightful and a rare thing in this world. He says, go for it. Going on.
Section 3. Chudalaya Samadhanam. The clearing up of the situation by Chudala. Evam samataya tatra sthite tasmin shikhidvaje aho vata param samyam bhagavan ayam agatah atmavrittantamakhilam tat enam स्मारयाम्यहम् इति संचित्य चूडाला स्वकीयं vapu adade. Ah, how admirable is it that this divine one has arrived at supreme equability. Therefore, I shall give information to him on all the events relating to me.
So,
Thus, having thought, Chudala put on or assumed her own form.
yes, I think you're right then. If she assumes her form now, then she's been Kumbha the whole time. All right, going on.
Tadrishtva vismato raja sascharyan idamabravit katvam kutasvamayata kimartha iha tishtasi angena vyavaharena smitena nunayena cha mama jaya vilasena chudalevopalaksyase. Seeing her, the astonished king said this with wonder. Who are you? Where from have you come? For what purpose do you stand here? You appear like my wife Chudala by your body, by your behavior, by your smile, by your courtesy or modesty, and by your grace.
So she all of a sudden changes into Chudala. He's not quite sure who or what it is. Going on.
Chudalovacha evameva prabho vriddhi Chudalasmin sanshaya kumbhadideha nirmanam tvam bodha yitumeva me sarvam pashyasi tatvagnya dhyanenatha valokaya. Chudala said, Lord, quite so. Know that I am Chudala. There is no doubt in this matter. The creation of bodies like that of Kumbha by me is only for teaching you. Knower of reality, you will see everything. Now see or be aware of all events through meditation.
Yes. So his mind is quiet. He sees the whole game that she's played in order to bring him to wisdom. Going on.
Aswarajya parityagat Chudala darshanavadhi dhyane nalokya bhupalo viraram samadhitah. The king, having perceived through meditation all events from the renunciation of his kingdom till the seeing of Chudala, ceased from his concentration.
So whole thing passes in front of him. the whole process that he's gone through. Now, mind you, he's 12, 13 years by this point, or was it 18 years? I can't remember how long he was in the forest. Long time. Going on.
Rajavacha evam turutarat asmat sansara kuruhat aham uttarito yatha yukya uttarito yatha yukya sa hi kenopamiyate katham asyopakarasya kireshye te pratikriyam. The king said, thus, the expedient by which I was lifted up or delivered in this manner from this hollow of worldly existence, which is difficult to be crossed over, with which could it be compared? How will I repay you for this favor?
Yes. So he's enormous gratitude because she has helped him cross over. Was it this hollow was the word?
The hollow, yeah.
Of worldly existence. He's very grateful. So let's see what happens. Going on.
Chudalovacha deva shushka kriya jala pare tvaya kulatmani bhuyo bhuyo vichintaham tvadartham dukhita bhavam. Chudala said, my lord, pondering again and again over you, who were intent on the web of dry or vain rituals and of a perplexed mind, I became distressed on account of you.
So she, out of compassion, knowing he was stuck in ritual, took on this device to free him. Going on.
Tena tvat tava bodhatme swatha evopapadita maya tatra katham deva karoti mama gauravam. Due to that, on account of your knowledge, only my own purpose has been accomplished by me. In that matter, how does my Lord give me importance or treat me with respect?
So the whole thing is, it was his ultimate self-efforts. She only assisted in it. Why should you thank me? You did the work. Going on.
Rajavacha nirihosmin niranshosmin swastosmi vigatashayah yadasti tat tadevasmin vaktu shaknomi netarat prasadena veshalakshya tirnosmin bhagasagarat. The king said, I am without desire. I am without parts or division. I am happy or self-abiding, devoid of a dwelling. Therefore, what exists, I am only that. I cannot say other than this. By the favor of the wide-eyed one, Chudala, I have crossed the ocean of worldly existence.
Could not have said it any better. Going on.
Section 4. Swarajya Bhisheshanam. Coronation in his kingdom. Chudalovacha Kim idanim prabho bruhi rochate te mahamate. Chudala said, Lord, noble-minded one, tell me what pleases you now.
Going on.
Rajavacha pratishedham na janami na janamya bhivachinam na staumi na chanindami yathechasi tathakuru. The king said, I am not aware of prohibition or contradiction, nor do I feel desire. I do not praise, nor do I condemn. Do as you wish.
So he's leaves it up to her. So let's see what she says.
Chudalovacha yadhyevam tat mahabaho samakarnaya manmatam rajyena prakrite nemam kalam nitva kramena cha videhatam prayasyama prabho kalena kenachit. Chudala said, Mighty armed, if it is so, listen to my opinion. Lord, having passed this time gradually by the administration of the kingdom on hand, we shall go to the state of bodiless liberation after some time.
So come back. We'll govern the kingdom together for some time till the bodies drop, and then we'll be liberated. Videho moksha, liberation beyond the body. Going on.
Rajavacha yuktam uktam vishalakshi tvayetat samayadhya yatha sansthaname mevao tishtava swastha tam gatao. The king said, Wide-eyed one, this proper course has been told by you with an equable mind. These two are only our natural abodes. We shall remain there, arrived at the state of self-abidance.
So this is where we are because we know who we are. Do our duty in the world until the bodies fall off. Then moksha, beyond the body. Going on.
Athothaya tuchudala ratnakumbha purasthitam kantam sankalpayamasa purnam saptabhi varibihi. And then Chudala, having got up, prepared out of her will a lovely jeweled pot standing in front, filled with the waters from the 7 oceans.
So this is this play on the word kumbha. She then manifests with her tantric powers this pot. Going on.
Right, because kumbha means pot, right?
Kumbha means pot. Yeah.
Pot, okay, I forgot.
Tena mangalakumbhena tam purvabhimukham sthitam bharya bharta make kanta swarajye bhishisheshachitsa. That lawful wife of the king consecrated with the auspicious pot her husband, who was seated facing the east to his own kingdom in solitude.
Yes. So the kumbha and the other one is gata, but you correct me, please. But I think kumbha is more a ritual vessel kind of pot as opposed to a cooking pot. So they do this ritual consecrating him to come back and be king. Going on. Are we almost done with that section?
We have about 5 more verses to the end of the chapter.
Okay. Do you mind staying a couple minutes late?
Not at all.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of commentary on it.
Tatha sane samasthapya mahadev vipade tata abhishikta chachudalam chakara cha shikhidvajah. In this manner, Shikhidvaja, having placed Chudala on a seat, then consecrated her to the position of a great queen.
Yes. So they perform coronation-like rites. Going on.
Tata sankalpa matrena sainyena puritam vanam tato dviparavam divyam arudhau nripadambati. Then, by mere will, the forest was filled with an army. Thereafter, the king and his consort mounted an excellent celestial elephant.
So going on, let's see what happens.
Tata prasthaya rajasau mahishya praviya saha Prapalpenaiva kalena swam purim swarga shobhanam. Then that king, having departed along with his beloved queen, reached his city, splendid like heaven, in just a little time.
So they are on this elephant with the army and they marched back into the city. Where have you been? Welcome back. Going on.
Taraturya dina paurai pratyudhyato visheshatam Dashavarsha sahasrani rajyam kritva mahitale saha chudalaya rama virato teha dharanat teham tyaktva chagamasau apurjan me nripaha. He entered the city, greeted with musical instruments by the citizens. Rama, having ruled the earth for 10,000 years along with Chudala, desisting from holding or preserving the body, and having given up the body, that king went to the state devoid of rebirth, that is attained to final beatitude.
Yes. And again, when you see a number like 10,000, just means a long time. So they lived a long time doing their duty and then went to nothing afterward. Body dissolves into the gross elements, the subtle body dissolves into the subtle elements. But I goes no. That the last one?
One more, Namita. Etatte katitam sarvam shikhidvaja kathanakam anena kachamargena na kadachana khidyase. The entire story of Shikhidvaja has been narrated to you. Go by this path. You will not be afflicted or wearied.
Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful story. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.